What is going down? It is your boy Studio MacGyver, and you are listening to Studio MacGyver's Dragon Ball and Video Game Podcast. Guys, first off, let me just apologize for the hiatus on last week's episode. There was no Dragon Ball Super episode to talk about, and I didn't have enough, I felt, substance to bring and put into a episode or a show. So I kind of just left that. Hopefully some of you guys got the news on the Twitter page. I left a short paragraph explaining that I would not be doing the show that week, and tune in for next week's episode. And when you guys listen to this, it will probably be sometime mid to late Monday. Usually I typically put my stuff out in the wee hours of a Monday morning. But when you talk about some shit, and I do mean shit, that's what I have been dealing with this past week, really, especially these last few days, man. Just everything that could possibly go wrong actually went wrong, from me having a flat tire and being set back, $300 to get all that situation taken care of. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. Other things were happening as well, but, thankfully it is pretty much over now, and I am back to your regularly scheduled programming. So from here on out, I should be dishing out these podcasts every Monday, just like I have been for the past year almost. And, everything should be back to normal. All right, now that's out the way. I just want to talk about Dragon Ball Super episode 130 and what transpired in this episode, man. And it is a lot of shit that, happened in this episode. And I guess you can say things we have to look forward to on the final episode. Let me just first say this. Jiren is awesome, okay? And I don't know, man, what it is about this guy, man, but I just think he is the shit. He's my favorite character of Dragon Ball Super. If you guys do not know, most of the people who listen to me know this, but for anybody out there listening who is new, happens to be listening now, that dude is amazing in my opinion. And I mean, Goku, let's just keep it real. Goku put his hands in his life. Okay. That form, that goddamn ultra instinct, that shit is crazy. Okay. He handled Jiren in a way that I've never seen Jiren handled before. And that's saying a lot. Let's just keep it real. I mean, it went from sugar to shit real quick for Jiren in this episode. And he was on his back. It was over. It was all said and done. And the next thing you know, Goku, his body gave out on him. And if you listen to the episodes prior, leading up to this, I mean, you know that Goku has overextended himself, to contend with Jiren. His body could not handle, the transition at an accelerated rate like that, and it basically, his body gave out finally. Too little, too late. He almost had Jiren, and up until that point, Jiren, in my opinion, in my mind, was a hero. But he was kind of he was doing everything on his own terms, if you will. He didn't even want to come to the tournament, at first, until he was assured that something he wanted personally would be given to him. So he's a flawed character, and that's a good thing. You know what I mean? That's one of the things I also like about him. And then, he does have a past. There is a method to his madness. All of that being said, what kind of shocked me was the fact that at the end, Jiren was so angry, he went to try to kill all of Goku's homies. Everybody in the stands, he was trying to wipe them out. And because of that, it basically pissed Goku off even more. And you know what I mean? And that was the wrap after that. I just honestly didn't think Jiren could be beat. I thought he was just too strong. And evidently in this episode, he gave everything he had. And it was not enough to beat Goku. And if it wasn't for Goku's body giving out on him, then, it would be over. But that brings me to the next eye-opening surprise in this episode. Right before Goku was to be eliminated by Jiren turned to Goku and basically said, I don't want it to end like this. I didn't want it to end that way. If you beat me, I would rather lost fair and square. I didn't want anybody to interfere. But if it has to be this way, it has to be this way. And he also told Goku that he will never, ever forget him, in so many words. That's basically what he said. I mean, when you fight somebody that potent, that wet, and if you guys don't know what wet means, it's amazing and highly skilled. Okay, it's a word that I came up with, W-E-T-T. When you come up against a motherfucker that wet, you're not going to forget that shit. And, you can also say the same thing with Goku. I'm sure when Goku's alone in the shower or when he's sleeping at night, okay, or he's taking a long walk in the park, he's going to remember that Jiren is one bad motherfucker, okay? You just don't meet people like that and fight them and exchange hands with somebody of that caliber and, walk into the sunset, without a thought. It just doesn't happen. And that's basically what Jiren was saying to Goku in so many words. And next thing you know, guess what happened? He knocked Goku off. But before Goku could drop all the way at the end, what happens? Golden Freiza is alive. He's there. He knocks Goku's body onto a rock, saving him from being eliminated, at least for right now. And then an even bigger surprise. Well, really, the first one wasn't that much of a surprise. I kind of felt that Frieza was in there somehow because we just didn't know where he was. He was in the back pocket. But what really surprised me was the fact that Android 17 was still alive. And he's here. He is in the building as well. And, I didn't see that coming. It's going to be very interesting now. So now what you have is basically a completely drained Goku who's not worth a damn. And then you have, a battered and bruised Golden Frieza, a battered and bruised Android 17 going up against Jiren. I don't know how injured Jiren is. He did get his ass handled, but he doesn't look as bad as everybody else looks. And compared to, Frieza and 17, Jiren will probably mop them pretty quick. But that's why waiting for the last episode is going to be so hard. I got to try to get my mind off of that because it's kind of like, anime crack. And, right now I'm already slapping my arm. I'm ready for the next hit. And I want to know what the ending is going to foresee. I want to know what's going to happen. Now, reading around the internet and all of that, there was talk about an origin story for the upcoming Dragon Ball movie, but now there's people talking about instead of an origin story necessarily, it's going to be focused on the world of Dragon Ball Super, and is going to lead into the next arc that is on its way. So, you know, I can't wait to get more information on the movie and what actually is going to transpire around it. Is it going to be an origin story, or is it going to be, you know, related in set in time of Dragon Ball Super, or a little bit of both? And how would they make that happen? I don't know, guys. I mean, but I can't wait to find out what it is. So I don't want to just speculate too far into that, because it's just, you know, you go on one way and it ends up being, you know, on the complete opposite side. So, I do say, and I do believe that Dragon Ball Super is alive and kicking. It's not going anywhere. Like I said before, like I said, the hiatus is being taken for this movie, and after that, early 2019 is when we're going to see the return of Dragon Ball Super. If it's going to be called Super, I do not know, but I think it will be. It's still kind of a young series. Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball were very, you know, drawn out, more so at least than Super, and I think Super still has, you know, some things to do. And I just really hope that Jiren is included in this movie, or just in the next arc somewhere down the line, because this motherfucker is wet. I love this dude, man. He's up there with my other favorites. He's up there with Vegeta. He's up there with Frieza, and he's up there with Tenshinhan. Yeah, those are my top three, and he's up there with those guys, man. He's just a dope character. He's a simple looking character, and you know, I don't like a lot of colors and those type of things on some of my characters. I like the simple art style. I like the simple design. You know, the colors, it's, you know, red and black. I mean, it's that clear cut. He's just got a bald head. His design is not very complicated, but he's like a super alien. I mean, I don't know what else to call him, man. I mean, anybody who's, you know, fucking with, you know, God of Destructions and rivaling them, and forcing Goku to put his body, you know what I'm saying, on Shred Street, just to compete, just to stand a chance against him and to beat him. I mean, that in itself is amazing. And I don't know, man. Everybody has their guy or their girl in the world of Dragon Ball who they, you know, who they take a liking to, and Jiren is just one of those guys, man. I remember when I first saw him in the opening credits of Dragon Ball Super, I was wondering, who the fuck is this guy, man? Who is this dude? And now I know, and I hope to know more. I mean, I hope they dive a little bit deeper into this character. I think that, you know, he would definitely be a new, and at least in my opinion, a highly welcomed new player or new teammate to the Z team, or should I say to the Super team now, I guess. Yeah, man. And then, you know, what about Frieza? Is Frieza going to join the squad as well? I don't know, man. So many questions, so little answers. And that was basically what Dragon Ball episode 130 was about. I mean, it was just a battle between Jiren and Goku, and them finishing the battle. And I basically spoke on what transpired in there, and we're going to find out the end to be all ends next week. We don't have to wait another week, so March 25th will be the day, man. And we will finally be able to close the book on this arc, and then the speculating can begin, and we can kind of get into it, because hopefully that will leave us with some answers, and we can kind of dive into that. And then also the manga, so we can kind of look at both of those, and then we can kind of go from there. You know what I mean? So that's where we are on Dragon Ball Super, guys. Glad it's here now. We only got one more episode left, so man, I hope it's a good one. It's got to be a good one, man. And I mean, you can only squeeze so much into one episode, so man, what are they going to do? What are they going to do? With that being said, I'm going to move on. Yeah, the fight was epic, though. I will definitely say that they did some fly shit in this in this episode. Now the art style, they had moments, but like I said, and there still hasn't been an episode to come close to 122, and that's just my opinion. That's just me, talking. But that's how I feel about it. And I hope to see Jiren I hope to see him in Dragon Ball Fighters one day, and I think that will happen because technically he's the guy, he's the creme de la creme right now of Dragon Ball Super up to this point. So when this arc ends, when you think of Dragon Ball Super, you think of a villain. When technically he's not a villain, but when you think of a rival of Goku's, at least I think of Jiren. I think of that guy, like a cut above everybody else. Nobody else is touching this dude. And I'm not lying about that. I mean, it's true. So I mean that's what I think of. So hopefully they take that and they use it. I'm just waiting for the Jiren merch to just come, just tumbling down everywhere. We're starting to see hit a lot of his merchandise emerge because he's definitely a popular character. I think he was probably the most popular up until Jiren came to be. You know what I mean? So it ought to be interesting to see. I can't wait to see the merchandise. I already have one piece of Jiren merchandise, and I want to make more. I'm talking t-shirts, all the stuff, man. I do t-shirt designs and whatnot, and I got a handful of Jiren ideas already in my mind. So it's gonna be fun. And man, I don't know what else to say about that, but he should be joining us in Dragon Ball Fighters at one point in time. Some point in time, we should see this guy, man. You got to put him in there. If you're putting other super characters in the game, you got to put him in there, man. I'm just keeping it real. I'm just keeping it real. Now we're gonna move on, and I'm gonna talk about a little bit of some gaming. Now, guys, I'm going through basically a time in my life right now where I just don't have fucking time to play like I want to play. Things happen, life happens, and you find yourself with a lacking of time, and you're like, man, when am I gonna, can I do all of these things? And when you're an adult and you have kids and you all of those things, and you have to take all that into consideration, man. That's what I'm talking about. It's not as easy to just pick up the joystick and just have at it. And I'm working on making that easier, making the transition right now. So hopefully within a few months from now, a lot of those things will change, and we can get into some gangster shit. But there are some games that I really want to fucking play. I always try to get me some matches in Dragon Ball Fighters. I always try to get some matches in, you know what I mean? And it's cool because it's a fighting game, and it's not, it doesn't require you to, get very focused for a very long time. Typically the games that I like to play are RPGs, JRPGs, action adventure type of games. Those are, my bread and butter. And then I have the fighting games. So, games that I'm looking forward to, guys, that are coming, that are like literally right around the motherfucking corner, I think we all know about God of War. Okay, God of War is in April 20th, I think, and that's one I think everyone must experience if you own a PS4. Man, Xbox, you guys, I don't know what to say, man. I'm at a loss for words right now. I don't know what to say. I'm just gonna say my condolences right now, as far as because it just, these games, these first party games that Sony has, it's the creme de la creme. I don't know what I would do if I had a Xbox, but I guess, look, you have your Xbox. If you love your Xbox, hey, more power to you. Shit, if all you had was a Game Boy and you love your game, but more power to you. You know what I mean? I look at it like that. Just because it's a system out there that I don't necessarily, put a stamp on, doesn't mean that it's not a good system. by any stretch of the imagination. I'm talking PC players. I'm talking anybody, handheld players, whatever. You like what you like, and that's just what it is. I'm sure there's a lot of people who feel that way about Sony. I mean, for whatever reason, and that's fine as well. So, with that being said, guys, game on whatever the fuck you want to game on with, I guess. Let me just say that. But just speaking biasly from a Sony guy's perspective, very excited to be that guy, and I'll leave it at that. But God of War is definitely a game, April, that I want to sink my teeth into, and I don't care what I have to do. I am going to make time for that game. Going to. But here's another game that is coming even sooner, and I will definitely be making time for this. And I think I'm anticipating this game more than even God of War. And that is Ni no Kuni 2. If you guys don't know about Ni no Kuni, the series, it is an RPG series. Beautiful art style. Just Google it. Ni no Kuni 2. This game has a completely different fighting engine, a game engine, than the first one. And I'm more excited about this one because I like the live action stuff. So yeah, we're gonna be getting into some gangster shit, man, with Ni no Kuni, man. And that's gonna be a game that I'll probably lose myself in for quite some time. And I'll probably be talking about it as time progresses on future podcasts and whatnot. Maybe even on the YouTube channel as well. But that's a game I'm very looking forward to playing. What else is out there? Oh, Gerald. If you guys don't know who Gerald is, he's the guy. He's the Witcher. Yeah, man. He has been announced as a playable character in Soul Calibur. That shit is wet. That shit is beautiful. That shit is fucking amazing. It's not highly skilled, but it is amazing. Okay. And I cannot wait to see how this guy plays. There are some videos out, some quick videos, 20 seconds, 30-second videos out on this guy. Some people aren't familiar with the Witcher series, but I definitely recommend you guys play that. Make sure you have time on your hands because this is an RPG and it's an open world, and that's putting it mildly. That's definitely putting it mildly, but it's an excellent game. A lot of people love it, including me. But this character is going to be in the game. He's the main character in the Witcher series, and I can't wait. I cannot wait to play as him. I cannot wait for Soul Calibur. Soul Calibur is another fighter that is gonna be dope. I've always been a Soul Calibur fan ever since Soul Blade on the PlayStation, and this game is definitely gonna get some PT. And we're still waiting for a date for the Dragon Ball FighterZ first DLC, which is going to include Bardock and Broly. We should be getting that very shortly. We should be getting that DLC really, really soon, because everybody's getting itchy, man. And if you follow Bandai Namco on Twitter, you also know that they're talking about it. And they're putting stuff out there. They recently put some stuff out basically talking about the dramatic finishers. Now these guys are going to have their own dramatic finishers as well when you associate them with certain other characters in the game. So they are definitely not half-assing any of these shit, the DLC or whatever. So all these characters are coming fully equipped just like the other characters with all the moves and everything. And the dramatic finishers to put the cherry on top. So I think we can look forward to every DLC character having these things associated with them, and that is definitely a fucking A1 in my book. Like I said, these guys have outdone themselves. Arc System Works, and I cannot wait to see what they bring to the table moving fucking forward with the game. We did have an update recently, and they fixed a lot of shit. Okay, the matchmaking finally. I haven't had any issues since the update, which is fucking excellent. Also, now when you turn the game on, they gives you the fucking option to play online or offline, which I felt should have been in the game day one. But hey, better late than fucking never, because I was tired of turning the game on. And as soon as you hit the game and turn it on, you had to fucking wait for the internet to catch a lobby to put you in, and it fucking sucked to me. You know what I mean? That's out of the way that's handled. So you get the choice. You want to practice and play arcade or whatever, you can do that as soon as the game pops up. So with that being said, I'm very, very thankful and grateful for that. Oh man, damn, 25 minutes have flown by. I'm going to get up out of here, guys. I'm just happy to be back, to be talking into this microphone to you guys. And there's going to be more to come. Like I said, after this week's podcast, it will be back to the regular scheduled programming. Same bad time, same bad channel, Monday mornings. Like I said before, you'll probably get this podcast mid to late Monday, because I'm recording it now and I won't probably be editing it until the following day or later in the day. So yeah, I still have kids here that are visiting and I still have work to do. But with that being said, I want to appreciate and thank every one of my listeners, especially the ones who basically shouted me out and were asking me, yo, where is the podcast? You guys know who you are, and I'm back. So everything's all good. We're going to be talking about Dragon Ball. And, which brings me to this real quick. Everybody wants to know, well, what are you going to talk about now that, Super is coming to an end? Oh, that's shit to talk about, trust me. There's Boruto to talk about, and I still fuck with Dragon Ball. So it'll be Dragon Ball Super. I'll still be talking about. I got some Kai stuff to talk about, and even just topics on Dragon Ball as a whole, as far as character breakdowns and things of that nature. So there's always something to talk about when it, comes to Dragon Ball. That's not going to be any question. And then in games, of course, that's what I do when I get whenever I get any time, I try to find myself playing some kind of game. So look, plenty of stuff to talk about, plenty of things, guys, to get into. I know Super is coming to an end, but that doesn't mean that Dragon Ball is going anywhere. So let's keep that in our minds, and let's get into some gangster shit for the future. I love you guys. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your support. And I'm going to get out of here now. This is Studio MacGyver, and you have been listening to Studio MacGyver's Dragon Ball and Video Game Podcast. See you next time.